Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Volpe Create Show, the weekly talk show about video games and creative technology. I am your host, Chris. As always, joined by Baby, who's rooting around over there, and then Pumpkin. I think she's back there, but you can't see her in the.
She's
She's
in,
like roughly here in the void of Mushroomville. Um, and of course, Lucas. How are we today?
Oh, busy as ever, but doing great.
Awesome. So we have a special edition of the show today. We're actually doing it live in person. We half-assed had to set this audio equipment up in my living room to make it all work, but I think we got there. I'm trying to adjust this a little bit. See if that sounds okay. There we go. And we are joined by special guest and friend Yua. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Chris. How are
Awesome.
you doing?
I'm good. Lucas, I'm going to take these headphones off. So if you need anything, just shout into the screen, I guess. Ah, much better.
Yeah, no longer tethered to the 3-foot cord.
Yeah, I should have gotten a longer cord, I guess. I didn't think I would need to be in that scenario, but adjusting. So Yua, who are you? What do you do? Why are you here?
Yeah, so I work as a creative director. Basically, my job is to work for local nonprofits and companies. They'll have a problem that needs a solution to it, usually related to creative visuals, and I'll be hired to help them come up with a solution to that problem, usually through making photos, videos, designing websites, just whatever creative material they might need. And so I'm fortunate enough to be able to work with people in the creative industry who are very talented and extremely prolific. So we get together and we make content.
So that was really exciting, but like, what's the other thing more relevant to the show that you do? What's the more exciting thing
Well, I play
that you
video
do?
games, but it wasn't always that way. When Chris and I first started working together through GDEX, which we're both repping our GDEX shirts
Yeah,
today.
just coincidentally,
Yeah,
we have our Origins GDEX shirts on. Some fine work by Katie, as always, on
yeah.
the designs.
I love it. So colorful. But yeah, it's pretty much Russian roulette when I hang out with Chris, whether or not we're going to be wearing the same clothing because we have a lot of GDEX paraphernalia. We got some UA creative paraphernalia. So yeah, we're definitely nerds, JD. But I got into playing video games just before the pandemic hit, and started off just because I was trying to check out Fortnite for my daughter to see if I thought it was appropriate. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
after a couple years of realizing how hard the game was but finding it intriguing, I decided to take it a little more seriously. And Chris actually joined me for a little while playing on some Fortnite. So since then I've gotten into more story driven video games and really
You're
enjoyed
falling deeper and deeper into the
so
rabbit
deep into
hole.
the hole. Countless hours spent playing video games now, but I really love it. Previous to that, they weren't on my radar since I was a teenager. I think the last video game I played as a teenager was like Halo 2. Um,
Okay. So
before,
yeah, that would have been 2003, 4-ish.
yeah, so I had over 10 plus years without any video games in my life. So now I spend a lot of time hanging out with friends playing games.
Yeah, yeah. So you also, and I think I can't see the text in there, but uh, you also have cultivated a gaming community.
Yeah. So actually, we have some of the OGs in the chat right now: Flick, My Bick, and JD Blaze. And then of course Chris. We were all playing Fortnite together, and we needed a better way to chat. And actually, Chris let us jump in his server for a little while until we got a little rambunctious and wanted to have a million channels. So um, we started off in the Volpe Creates channel or in server and with a channel on Fortnite, and then we decided to create Fortnite Fuckery, which is representative of our members as far as the mentality of just getting in, having fun in Fortnite, and fucking off and catching things on fire, blowing stuff up, just having a good old time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Brio Batman has joined us yet, but he's the king of jumping in a vehicle right off spawn and driving and running into as many people as possible. He doesn't even have a weapon in his inventory. He's just full blown running people over with a truck. So
Yeah. Yeah, I played the Fortnite for a while. And yeah, it was fun. I found the controls, the aiming in that. We've talked about this before,
yeah,
but the aiming. There's something weird with the aiming. I've played a lot of video games, played a lot of games in my day, and I've never had a game where like I just can't. The way like the angle to the reticle is positioned, it just throws me off. And I don't know why, but we had fun playing for a while. And then I got sucked into work and then Path of Exile.
Yeah.
The best game in the world.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten you on the Path of Exile train yet.
No, not yet. Yeah,
are they doing?
They're like literally mowing right outside of.
Yeah, they're mowing. I don't know if you can hear it, but
so.
they're mowing outside of the house now. So
yeah,
here's the at-home recording.
Yeah, if you can't hear it, you're missing out. It's
well, my new place is gonna have. I'm gonna have all this set up, like ready to go, and it's on the second floor, and it's not on a major street.
That's
so
good.
We should have, between those powers combined, we should have a better. Lucas is giving me a thumbs up.
Yeah,
double thumbs up. So hopefully triple thumbs up. Oh my God. I think that having that, we're getting another visitor here.
Hey, Pumpkin.
And yeah, we're both sitting. We're not sitting at my desk anymore, so we're gonna get lots of visitors. I think
I'm good for that.
Let's see what she does here.
She's gonna join the chat.
She should be good. She has been trained to not step on keyboards.
Oh, that's good. What's up, Shay? And JD says 2004 is when Halo 2. So yeah.
Okay.
I remember Halo 2, my favorite thing to do, I don't remember if it was just like a sandbox mode, if we were doing it in actual games and like co-op, but my brothers and I thought it was so funny to throw plasma grenades on the warthogs, and something about the physics of it just was so enjoyable.
Yeah.
So that was something I remembered.
Bungie has a wild story that's really interesting still to this day. So, they started out as like sort of the Bungie Lite that we know them as today. They started out as Macintosh developers. So they made games just for the Mac, including some awesome ones like Marathon, which is really cool. That was one of the first games to introduce double guns so you could shoot independently. And then Pathways into Darkness, which was an awesome game, which allowed you to had like a writing mechanic where you could talk to dead soldiers that you came across.
That's interesting.
And like there wasn't like a pull down menu. You could just like type to them and they would try to like respond in a way. Obviously it didn't work super well because it was like, I don't know, 1989 or something when this game came out. But it was pretty awesome. And then they were going to go out of business. And they looked to a couple of companies. Nintendo didn't want to buy them, and Microsoft bought them. So that's where Halo came. Halo was originally a Mac exclusive, announced at Macworld like 1998 or 1999.
That's super interesting considering.
Yeah, so that was a big thing with the Mac and Windows fight, which isn't really. I don't think that's as big a deal now as it was like in the 80s and 90s. Mac versus PC. I think Mac won that one.
Yeah, now it's Apple and Epic fighting.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that because I think Epic is full of shit. And they got their ass handed to them a little bit on that lawsuit. But yeah, so then they made Halo, became Microsoft's big tentpole game for the Xbox. And then they left and made Destiny and a publishing relationship with Activision. And then now they're in the process of being bought by PlayStation. So yeah, Bungie has had a illustrious, interesting story. To go from Mac to being Windows and then now being bought out by the Windows competitor, because Halo made Xbox. Halo is what gave rise to Xbox. And they've been milking that property for
and they are milking everything they can. As JD and I know. So I never really understood what you meant when you were talking about, having trouble aiming in Fortnite until I started playing Halo after years of playing Fortnite and, transitioning not just from that third person view, but also between Halo and Fortnite. It's very difficult to jump back and forth between the two because the aiming is so different.
I mean, you saw me play like Horizon Zero Dawn, Resident Evil. I mean, you've seen me play a lot of games and I don't have that problem. I think it's the reticle's like not center set, it's like offset for some stupid reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure you could get used to it. I mean, people do. But
Yeah.
I just found it frustrating, really frustrating.
Yeah. At one point, Flick asked if that was Pumpkin, and that is in fact Pumpkin.
Yes, that was Pumpkin. And baby, she's sitting right here. She was on screen a second ago.
Yeah.
Um,
The cute ones. They're the main attraction.
oh yeah. I mean, baby is. I have debated getting like business pet insurance on her because she's like the mascot of the company. She's on my business cards. You know, more people know her name than know my name. So
It is an easier name, you know.
it,
Your
it
name isn't hard, but baby
yeah.
is pretty easy, especially since she looks like a little baby.
We were walking down right over like one street that away is a hardware store, and I was walking by taking baby out. This was like 2 or 3 days ago on a walk, and this older guy, probably like in his mid 60s, he comes out of the store. He's got like a little bag, and he like opens up the door to his car, and he's about to get into his car, and he sees baby, and he's like, and he just like bends over with a smile on his face. It's just like, I was like, yeah, that's a baby.
It's so adorable.
That's what she does. That's what she does.
Yeah.
So how many people are in your community right now?
We are, I think, close to like 110 people. We just broke 100 people the other day. Well, actually, a couple weeks ago. And one of our moderators, Shay, who's been in the chat today, she had the idea that we should have group games. We call them GGs, group games every single night for a week. And so every moderator, we had 8 moderators, all host group games. And in Fortnite, if you haven't played it, there's the battle royale, which is what people are used to. You know, you drop in Hunger Games style onto a map, and it's, you know, last person standing or last team standing wins. But in Fortnite, they have creative games that are made by people in the community, and they're usually pretty well put together, and overall they function pretty well. But they're indie games built inside of the framework of Fortnite. You use your same characters and everything, and so these group games that we hosted for an entire week were a lot of fun, and they range from, you know, prop hunt games, which is where you turn yourself into an object and people try to find you. It's like a hide and seek type game. To gun games, which is where after you eliminate a player, you switch to a different gun, and so you're constantly trying to figure out, you know, how to use the new gun to the best of your ability and to win with. We played laser tag, and so it was a lot of fun. On average, we had probably around like, you know, 13, 14 people per night joining, and every moderator had different games. So we try to do community events as much as possible, obviously depending on the time of year and how busy our moderators are. But we've got some amazing moderators. I love our community. And we have our event that I just announced today coming up on Tuesday as an ice cream social. So we'll do something similar to, you know, it's group games, but we're eating ice cream. Not the whole time, but I mean, you certainly could eat ice cream the whole time. But
In real life?
in real life, we're eating ice cream while playing video games, and then we're on Discord together. Some people choose to have their cameras on so we can see each other and laugh at each other and smile when we shoot each other in the face, or
maybe we
camera off.
Maybe we should wrap this into one of the charity things that we're thinking about doing.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do a charity evening. I wonder, I could reach out to Jenny's, maybe get some ice cream or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. We haven't announced any of the charity stuff, but we're, you know, Extra Life's our major partner for GDEX, and that is coming up in November, first weekend of November, I believe. So we're going to do something on that, and we're excited about.
That'd be sweet.
So yeah, that's cool. I find it fun that you never really played video games, and then just hung around and did a lot of work in the video game space, and then now you've got your PS5, you've got your Xbox Series X, you've got a Discord channel. Like you're in it now. You're in it to win it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of my thing when it comes to. I always tell people I have to be careful of, you know, the things I get interested in, because I go from like dabbling to like 150% all in.
Video games are notorious for that.
Well, yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's what I mean, I love Path of Exile, but it's mostly like the tinkering and the building, like how I can put these pieces together and see if they work.
Yeah.
And I play on hardcore, so like sometimes if something doesn't work, I just completely crumple and I have to spend 10 hours getting back there again.
Yeah.
But you were also on the first game club
Yep.
which has kind of died a little bit, but it's coming back.
It's not dead. It's
It's
just
not
in
dead.
hibernation during GDEX.
Yeah, just GDEX. It's just so much. But now Lucas is helping out, so maybe I'll be able to live again as a person.
There you go.
Mm.
Yeah, congratulations, Lucas, on helping produce GDEX for the first time.
Yeah, thank you.
A
I
big
appreciate it. It
undertaking.
was very
Yeah.
awesome.
We can't hear you, but I'm sure it sounds great.
I'm sure you're complimenting me on my compliment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, Game Club's coming back. So I'm excited to set up my new room. I'm gonna have a couch, and then I'm gonna set these up. The thing is, I got to be careful because like Pumpkin will get at them
and chew on the cords.
Yeah, she's been pretty good about not chewing on these cords thus far, but I'm sure as soon as she finds out how chewable they are, but it's this thing, she'll claw at
the
the
windscreen.
Yeah, and then it's just all over. The one Lucas gave me one for my other one, which wasn't in the best shape, but now it is in far worse shape.
Yeah, now it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean
It's
it's over there. It looks like somebody did a bad like shave job on a fro. You know?
Yeah,
it's rough stuff.
Flick has a question about Path of Exile. She asked, it has a huge character build, doesn't it? So there's
So it's a Diablo style game, action RPG, but it has a ton of different ways you can put stuff together. So you've got 7 classes, I think, and then each of them have a specialty.
Yeah.
What are you smiling about?
I was just thinking about eventually you're gonna have to tell them why I haven't started playing it, or my like old man gripes about certain things.
I don't believe any of your gripes because I'll just whittle them down over time.
Mm-hmm.
I think people just tend to gripe about stuff and then you just whittle it down, right?
You got
Hey man, I jumped into Fortnite for quite a while.
you went deep. You were like
Yeah.
arena style deep.
And then some of it was, I mean, being frustrated like the aiming, but some of it's just like there's a reason I don't play games that don't have endings, is because I get really into them, like you said.
Mhm.
And so I just sort of it's a soft rule where I just like, okay, I'm not going to play this game. Or if I jump into it, I'll play it for a bit. And then if I feel like it's becoming all encroaching, I step away.
Yeah.
Because Fortnite, it never ends. You can play games over and over and over again until you die. And that's what they want. That's what Epic wants.
Yep.
But anyway, so Path of Exile, you have 7 different classes, but unlike traditional games, each class doesn't have any particular skills or move sets. It just starts you out at a different place on this giant, I don't know if it's big, it's this giant tree. So you start at a different location on it and you can like weave your way through this passive tree. And so there's like a bazillion little ways you can go with passive points that help customize your character. Then you can choose different skills to put in your equipment. Then you have your different equipment that can do stuff. Then you can get ascendancies.
It's overwhelming.
For each character, you can get ascendancies, and each character has 3 different ascendancies that have their own little passive tree associated with them. And then on top of that, they added a passive tree for maps, which is the end game content. So you can earn points on that and put points into that passive tree. And then last season, the current season we're in, they added a smaller little baby passive tree for sentinels, which are these little robot things that can follow you around and do different stuff.
I didn't realize the sentinels had their own tree too.
And there's all sorts of stuff. Like I'm learning about like there's all these layers, right? Like, oh, I want to do damage. It's okay. You get a weapon, and the stronger your weapon is, the more damage you do. Okay, cool. But then there's nodes on the tree where it's like, I want to add more physical damage. You're like, okay, I'm going to add more physical damage. That's going to make my physical attacks better. Then you start learning about the difference between increased damage and more damage, which is additive versus multiplicative. So you got to figure that out. And then you keep going down the chain. So now I'm at damage conversion, which is taking like physical, turning it into another element, which then has this whole conversion system associated with it.
That's crazy.
And that's apparently how you get to like the really fun, interesting damage. So I'm in the process of moving my lightning to chaos.
That is,
and that's my story.
Looking at
it's also free. Like,
yeah,
it's totally free. You don't need to buy a single thing in it.
Looking at that skill tree, it looks like the most complicated spider web ever with like little dewdrops all over it, because it's so huge.
Yeah, I mean, after a while, you just sort of learn. Once you start learning the fundamentals, And I was fortunate that the first time I started playing, I think I was like at the first area on my like second or third character. Just like, is there anybody in here that can like has a little bit of time to like teach me just the basics?
Mhm.
And this guy logged on and we chatted, and he got me set up to be a necromancer, which I'm never a necromancer. That's not my style in games, but I learned a little bit, and then I met another guy because that guy ended up taking a break. I met another guy who just ran me through stuff, and then we just played on the headset. So if I ever had a question, but I mean, this game, there's people like one of the best players on our server. I'll ask him a question. He's like, I don't fucking know. I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't know this thing? He's like, no, I just put this thing on. If it looks like it does more damage, I feel good about it. But he's like a top. There's just so much stuff. It's overwhelming. Some people don't even bother. And
It's
that's
so
not even
crazy.
counting crafting. There's a bazillion ways to craft gear.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's part of the reason why it hasn't appealed to me yet, because it seems extremely complicated and
But you don't need to know any of that to like go in
yeah,
and have fun.
for sure.
You'll die a lot. But
I will say with these kind of like endless games, especially games that have a lot of microtransactions, I tend to have a tendency to want to collect as much things as possible, which means in some cases spending money. There's been some when Fortnite's down, we created a channel in our Discord called Offline Games, and so for when Fortnite's down, because they will go down during updates, like the big major updates in between, we'll play other games. Some people really like Dead by Daylight. Some people really like Fall Guys.
Fall Guys, we could do a Fall Guys night.
That'd be fun.
Fall Guys could be our game of.
Game of the month.
Oh crap, we're in July.
We are in July.
I need to choose a game here. Let me make a little note of
Yeah,
that.
July Fall Guys. Yeah, a lot of our friends are doing
Yeah, we could do Fall
Fall
Guys.
Guys.
Fall Guys night. I've never played it.
I haven't either. I'm interested. I don't think I'll get. I'm going to try not to get too into it, but I think it looks like a fun, casual
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
kind of like a Among Us type.
Yeah,
jump
totally.
in, play with friends. So Flick loves Fall Guys. Yeah, I know Flick. I think you and Burrito, and I'm trying to remember who else you were playing with. You guys have been playing lately, and I've been thinking about you know jumping in, especially since I think right now they have like a little Halo character you can get. I don't know if it's a purchase or if it's unlocked,
Oh,
but
I'm sure
probably a
it's a
purchase.
purchase somewhere.
Yeah. So
All right, yeah. Well, maybe we'll have a. I'll have to look into it, but we
Pop-Tart,
can
yeah.
set it up and have some folks come over and play it.
That'd be fun.
Or maybe we'll do it. That might be a better game to do when I've got my stuff set up at the new place.
Yeah.
When I've got the couches and everything.
That'd
We'll
be
have
nice.
some people come over, have some food and stuff.
Yeah.
I have been playing Last of Us as well. My friend Jake has been over, and we played Last of Us Part 1, the DLC, and now we're on Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, you got through Last of Us Part 1. Nice.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. I know you're never going to play it.
No, I will.
Which you
I
should,
will.
because it's freaking amazing.
Look, the order of operations right now is I need to continue playing Forbidden West. So Horizon Forbidden West is like my game outside of Fortnite that I'm playing the most, and Halo Infinite. I need to go back and finish what I don't even know what this means at this point, and it's partly why I haven't been playing. But go back and finish Control, because I thought I was finished and then I wasn't. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I certainly was not expecting to have more gameplay in that game. So
you've got God of War to play. You've got The Witcher 3 to play.
No, I think Elden Ring is what I'm going to be playing after I finish Control, because I think at that point you'll start playing it and then we can play together.
I mean, we can make Elden Ring our July game.
Let's wait until it's getting closer to being cold. I hear that game is insanely complicated.
I want to do Until Dawn is going to be our spooktacular October game, and we're gonna play that together.
Until Dawn. So I'm assuming that's a scary game. I'm trying to remember.
It is a. I don't want to. I haven't looked at a ton of it. It's well received. It's not like an amazing game, but a lot of people really like it. But it's sort of like a horror movie. Lucas is giving us a. Does that mean he likes Until Dawn? Okay. But it's a horror game where you make like a lot of different decisions, and so the fun is sort of. I work with that guy walking across the street right there.
Hello, friend. Yeah, it looks familiar.
But so I think that's going to be our spooktacular game for October, and then I got to think of a Chris-tacular game for Christmas.
That'd be cool.
Or maybe June. Should June be the Chris-tacular game? We just missed it. But dude, the thing with The Last of Us is that it is totally possible and more often than not likely that you will get exposed to some spoiler for it.
Yeah.
And I think any spoiler in that game is just it's a sin.
Yeah. I've been pretty good at avoiding watching videos about it. The only
Well, it just has such a like memes pop up out of nowhere and just like
yeah. I remember when you were playing it, I don't know if it was your first playthrough or second. I just happened upon you playing it, and I just remember there was such a graphic scene in it that I was like shocked because I was still new to playing video games and hadn't really seen that
oh
level
yeah.
of detail.
Yeah, you're gonna get bloody.
But you're like, watch this. And actually I can't play Dead by Daylight for that very reason. It's just, there's just so much like intensity to it that it just like makes me so anxious.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get better at
And
dealing with
it's
it.
about a father going across the country with like his daughter. So
Yeah. Yeah, JD says I avoid first-person shooter zombie games. If I'm playing a game against all AI bots, then I
What?
want full storyline and good art, not just waves of AI. I remember we had the hardest time getting JD to play. There was like a Fortnitemares event where essentially you would be fighting just against zombies. And I remember he seemed to absolutely hate it, but I loved that. I think it was enjoyable for me because it was early on when Evelyn, my daughter, started playing Fortnite with me, and she was really struggling with fighting real players because they, knew what they were doing. And back then, if you're not aware, Fortnite now has a zero build mode, so you don't have to actually know how to build in Fortnite, and you can play that with real people. It's like a staple mode now. But back when she started playing, they didn't have that mode, so she was playing against people that knew how to build, and she was just getting dunked on. So I think it was, especially memorable for me because not only were there a lot of cool Halloween cosmetics coming out in Fortnite, but also we had that mode where we could go ahead and just shoot zombies together with Flick, and it was a good old time. I liked it. I
sounds
like
like
shooting
it.
zombies in the face.
Yeah, I mean, Last of Us is third person, but it's a slower, like if you make it, there's things that can like one hit kill you in there and stuff. So like it's not like a fast, it's about taking your time, the characters, exploring the environment, and that kind of thing. So it's pretty much like the antithesis of Fortnite.
Yeah.
But it is amazing.
Yeah, I will play it. I think I already have it in my library. My PlayStation library is quite massive, and I'm scared whenever I decide to actually fully download the games onto the console, that even my 2 terabyte solid state, um, extension on it won't be enough I'll have to start like queuing them elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much space games take.
It's
Even
gonna
games
it's gonna get worse, man. It's gonna get worse.
it's crazy. Even games like Fortnite just take up so much space.
Yeah. So jumping back off that, you've been involved in the local game space here, helping with GDEX and things for what, 7 years now?
At least, yes. I would say 7, yeah.
Yeah, we're going into year 11 for GDEX.
So, yeah.
But like, why?
Yeah, well, I mean, when we first moved into the mill, so Chris and I met because we were,
We were neighbors.
neighbors at our business complex.
He stole my space.
Yeah, I stole his. They were hoping to expand, but instead the landlord gave me the space that they were hoping
we were told we had the space.
Yeah.
There was a door in between the two, and we took that down so we could prep the space a little bit, and we had like a kickoff party and everything. And then I remember Cody told me like later on, he's like, I knew it was a bad sign and we weren't getting the space when like Craig was literally nailing the door up at the end of our event.
Yeah, and this is like a big like barn door type thing. This isn't just like
our event wasn't even done. We still had guests in there, and he was nailing the door back up.
I of course knew nothing of any of this. I was just someone looking for a space for my studio. And I mean, that could have been the beginning of like, if this was like a Marvel movie or something, like we would have been like Nemesis,
Yeah, I don't worry about shit like that. I always tell this story like one of my good friends who and I've told him before, but the first time I ever met him, this other guy told me, he's like, I don't know, man, you should be careful about that guy. Like, he gives me like a bad vibe, something like, I'm paraphrasing, but something along those effects. And I was like, okay. And like, it kind of colored my perception of the first encounter. But now, like, we're great friends, and like, I don't talk to the other guy at all.
Yeah.
So, I generally just don't let stuff like that, and particularly with someone like Craig.
Yeah.
You can't let Craig control your emotional
No.
strings.
No, that being in the mill was some of the craziest time of my entire life, just dealing with Craig and Cliff.
We could do
the
a whole
wife.
podcast
Yeah,
about
we
the
could.
mill.
Yeah, it would be a very interesting
Every
podcast.
every morning, Cliff's out there throwing up in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Do I ever tell you about when Tina came and dropped something off at the office one day, and then I give her a hug and kiss. I'm like, okay, see you later. And she's like, all right, see you. And like 3 seconds later, she gives me a phone call. I was like, hey, what's up? She's like, this person, I won't name this person, but you'll know who it is. She was just in the middle of the parking lot peeing.
Oh my gosh.
In the middle of the parking lot while Tina was driving away.
Not even surprised.
And I was like, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, it was the most interesting. Like, we're talking middle of the suburban city of Columbus. This big, beautiful historic building managed by two brothers who are well-intentioned people, but just, kind of living in the past and really stuck in, how things have always been. And it was just a very interesting cultural experience for me, and I know for Chris and a lot of other people.
I mean, our lease was like 12 pages on legal yellow pad, handwritten.
But like probably white out on some of it from like old stuff that they wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, like literally that was our lease agreement. There's just 12 pages of yellow legal pad paper, handwritten in pen.
Yeah, like Flick said, and now we're great friends. And we started, so getting back to your question, so I think I interacted with you, a few times, probably related to mill related stuff. And then, I was interested in learning more about GDEX and what you guys were doing. And then you had a need for,
I had a need.
You had a need to have it filmed. And so we started working together on GDEX, but it wasn't long after that we just started hanging out more, talking more about projects, and then eventually started hanging out and working out together. Once I moved out of the mill as well, we moved into the Idea Foundry, which you guys had already been there for a couple years, which is like a maker space / co-working space in Columbus, which is really cool. And just a lot less work, a lot more hanging out, working out, then eventually playing video games. I don't think I would have gotten into video games if it wasn't for like interacting with you and GDEX. And I think the thing for me, so if you're not familiar with GDEX is a annual, gaming convention that happens here in the Midwest in Ohio that Chris puts on with his team at Multivarious. They're a game and web development company. They specialize in, technology related services. But GDEX is such a fun place because from an outside perspective, I'm going in and bringing a team to film, and my perspective of video games at the time, was much like a lot of adults that kind of fell out of playing video games, where it's like, I'm too busy. Video games are for kids. I don't understand why so many people are so obsessed with them. Meanwhile, I'm learning as we're filming GDEX about the things that video games are able to do for people, like socially, mentally, physically, and also like just seeing the joy and excitement that people were having at GDEX. And then, the hard work that Chris and his team put into it every year, I just got more and more interested in checking out what it was about. And eventually, we got a Nintendo Switch for my daughter, Evelyn. And,
it was all over.
It was all over. Yeah. Once there was a console in the house. And I know a lot of you that played with me when I was on the Switch can probably remember when I switched over from the Nintendo Switch to the PlayStation 5. And I literally probably every game for the first like 3 months was just like, I cannot believe how incredibly beautiful this game looks, because the Switch graphics,
and it just gets better. Like I remember every console just like, man, this game looks so good. And then like the next console, and that's like, again with Last of Us, like just playing Last of Us Part 2, you're like, Jesus, this game looks so good. And then I'm sure Last of Us Part 3 will look even better. It's funny you have more consoles than I do right now.
That is ridiculous. Well, it's because you sold your PlayStation 4. Because otherwise,
I sold pretty much all of my old stuff. Yeah. So I have
PlayStation 5 and then the Nintendo Switch.
And I never touched the Switch. I played the Switch for the first time in forever. Was that last week when the power went out?
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, I'll play this for a little bit.
What'd you play?
Luigi's Mansion.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Nothing against the Switch. It's just there isn't anything on there that like things like Animal Crossing. Again, those like kind of time waster games. I'm just not
Yeah.
into, and any other game I can play like on the PS5 and it's going to run and look better than
Yeah.
the Switch. So, and I know the Switches sound like hotcakes, so
Yeah.
it's good.
JD has a question. It's kind of a long one, so I'm gonna just hand that
Oh,
one over
Lord.
so you can take a look to that. Oh Lord.
Can
He
we ever
says-
expect patterns of innovation to ever slow game file sizes? Like any innovation to their data structure and texture resolutions on the horizon, similar to how GPU sizes shrunk as multi-core game. So the answer is we are seeing that already. Like,
Yeah, you were talking to me about this the other
yeah,
day.
most of the games are functioning on SSD. PlayStation actually has a really cool like technology that they've created for it. But in essence, it's compressing and uncompressing the files like near instantly on
crazy.
when it needs. So the SSD has been a sort of a revolution on that, because you don't have to spin up the disk drive, even if it's not a CD or a DVD. A normal plate drive, a hard drive, still has to spin, and like the needle has to find the data and stuff. SSDs pretty much solve that problem, so you don't have to load as much stuff up into like the memory buffer. But really, the issue is just going from 1080p to 4K, and now we're talking about going to 8K. So if you think about a 1080p screen, right, it's this big. 4K is 4 of those, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you go 8K, and it's orders of magnitude larger. And then the texturing sizes get larger and all of that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a constant battle between compression and hard drive size, and the pandemic definitely didn't help. SSD prices were kind of starting to like come down a little bit, and then the pandemic hit the supply chain and everything, and now it'll be probably, what year are we in, 2022? Probably be at least, I would think, halfway through 2023 before we would start to see any kind of reasonable decrease on SSD prices. So yeah, it is happening. And I would definitely check out Sony's compression. They have a video on it. It's pretty neat, because they want to be able to like load stuff. Like if you're facing one direction, normally the game has to like load everything behind you into memory or whatever. So when you learn it, you can see it. And they're working on tech where they can just pull it straight off the hard drive. So no matter which direction you're facing, it doesn't need to load all this extraneous crap.
Yeah.
Which theoretically should allow the CPU and the GPU to function better, but we'll see. Interesting.
Theoretically, yeah.
Interesting times. Yeah, the PS5, I mean, it loads really fast.
So fast that when Horizon Forbidden West came out, that they had to create like a button that you would like click and hold, because the little tips that would pop up, for you to read in between the load screens would go away so quickly people couldn't even read them, because the load time was almost instantly.
Well, and that's one of the things with the PS5. If you want to do the internal SSD expansion, there's a list of compatible drives, because you need to hit a certain benchmark on speed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't let you install it. It won't work, because if you're programming a game with the assumption that the SSD drive is going to function in this way, then if it doesn't, it's going to cause all these issues with the game itself. And so that's the new baseline. So I think that's pretty cool that the new baseline for hard drives is an M.2 SSD. I forget what, I think it's 7200 is the speed. I don't remember.
That sounds right. Yep.
But it's an exciting thing. And then the next thing we're seeing is, I mean, we're going down the rabbit hole now, but we're seeing like 3 nanometer processors, which is like, I mean, it was like 10 or 15 years ago, people were like, we're never going to get below 10, and like, you got to keep in mind, it's like, oh, we can make it smaller. But when you're talking about nanometer cell chips technology, you're talking about you're getting it so small that like the electrons are interfering with each other
That's crazy.
on these transistors.
Yeah.
And so you have to find a way to like, well, we'll shield the transistors from the electrons. I was like, yeah, but then you just made it thicker. Like
Yeah.
there's no way to shield it without making it thicker.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's
insane.
the fact that we're at 3 nanometers is like mind boggling. You know, in the 90s we were at like hundreds of nanometers. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's so, and of course battery technology, that doesn't really matter for consoles, but battery technology is that's the slow. It's hard to beat chemistry, you know?
Yeah. Batteries will always be the thing that kind of hold us back until they can figure out the capacitors and especially how to make them last longer.
Yeah.
Can I tell you about some of the new things that are in Fortnite? Because I don't know that you know, and I really want to share.
Sure. We've only got a few minutes, so
Okay,
do
I'll
it
be
quick.
We'll do the Fortnite. So there are now rip saws in Fortnite that you can shoot at people's builds.
Oh my God.
Rip saws. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Darth Vader, I think I've already told you, is in Fortnite.
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah, he's the Force guy. And you've got, basically there's a tree in Fortnite now called the reality tree that is taking over the island, and now POIs that have been taken over by this reality tree are changing match to match. So you would land at one place, and rather than being the same location, it's now changing in between maps,
Okay.
in between games. So it's really interesting. Like I think that's a cool dynamic to Fortnite because one of the biggest complaints is with people from the beginning of a season to the end of the season is like the map staying the same. So I think it was a cool mechanic they added
procedural generation. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of new things since you've left. I mean, I said that
Sure.
they've added mantling, so you can climb up on things. They've added sprinting and they call it tactical jumping. So after you've kind of sprinted, you can like lunge forward. So it's fun.
Okay.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll update it.
I want to have you come in and play it with us and just let us know all the things you like and all the things you hate.
I'm sure I will be back. I got to get my Path of Exile builds. I got so much good stuff in the works.
Well, you got to stay number 1, right?
Yeah. I've been the number 1 Scion for the past 2 seasons. I'm not currently in this season, but we're only halfway through the season, and I haven't been trying it.
That's what I should have got you for. Well, I guess there's still time to get you your birthday gift, but should have got you a number 1 Scion shirt.
Number 1 Scion shirt.
Number 1 Scion.
I should have Jeremy make me one because I'm always
that'd be
telling him I'm
perfect,
like number 1 Scion on the. I realize it's stupid, but like because there aren't that many PlayStation players in the world compared to like PC. Like PC is what keeps that game afloat. But the fact that I am the number 1 for 2 seasons on the hardcore server in the world,
that's incredible.
like, and people are like, well, I could do that. I was like, try it. Like, I never said anyone else can't do it. I'm just saying I'm the one that did it. You know,
the number 1.
I'm number 1.
That's awesome.
So I'll keep riding. I'm gonna try to do number 3 here. Got a couple builds. Yeah. So where were we? We went down quite a rabbit hole here.
I started telling you about Fortnite update, and I wanted to say hi to Drakina. She jumped in and said, "Love the rip saw." So
Dre,
hey friend, what's up, sis? But yeah, Fortnite. We're just gonna. You don't have to get into it like for weeks, months, years at a time. Just jump into a game and experience the new stuff with us. I want to hear all the things I want to hear you complain about the shooting, the reticle again.
Why is the aiming so bad?
I think they literally like move it like over to the right.
I just don't understand why. What I think happened. This is my theory. I have nothing to back this up other than is that I think they developed that game way back when because that originally was not supposed to be what the game was. It was like a horde zombie survival kind of thing.
Yeah. Like build your fort.
Yeah. And I think that they were developing the game before. I don't want to say the studio was bad because it is a big studio. But I mean, you look at like, this is a deep cut, but Unreal Tournament versus Quake 3. Epic did Unreal Tournament. And like people loved Unreal Tournament, but like it was not nearly as polished as Quake 3 was. You could just tell that id Software just knew what they were doing better than Epic did. Now, granted, that was in the 90s. So this is, but I think that they started working on this game before they were like this super big studio. And I don't think that they had a lot of third person shooter chops. And so I think they just made a game that like worked fine and people kind of got used to it. And now it's come along so long that they're just like stuck
Yeah.
You know, if they went and changed the aiming, their entire Fortnite community would lose
Oh,
their
yeah, they would
mind and
lose
be
their
like,
shit.
why do you have to change it? It should have been the way, you know, it's just like they're changing it because this sucks.
Yeah.
All of you have been brainwashed into believing
Yeah.
this is acceptable gameplay.
Yeah. I mean, they experienced that with turbo building. At one point, they had added turbo building in to help people be able to hold walls in place, or it was actually to be able to place builds faster. But what ended up happening is it disadvantaged people on a higher ping more than people on lower ping for being able to take people's walls and then open them up and shoot them. And
Sure.
so they tried to reverse that by making it to where turbo building put fewer builds per second down, and everybody lost their crap about it because they were so used to it at that point, even though it made the game more fair.
Yeah. And they have to balance like server
Yeah.
considerations on it. That's a big issue. It's happening in Path of Exile. They screwed up their server side something or other, but I'll jump back in. I'll jump back in.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to get my new setup so I can actually like flip to a game and be able to stream it on
Yeah.
good audio and like have my headphones set up and everything.
Yeah.
'Cause everything here you can't see, but everything here is just like piecemeal. Like I've got to plug things in or unplug
Yeah.
stuff. And then there's the pumpkin effect. So I got to
The-
make sure that
The pumpkin.
nothing too fragile is within chomping range. So it's a whole thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this was a temporary space anyways. Like,
Yeah.
so now that you're moving again, we'll be able
Yeah.
to set up like
And I don't have I didn't hang a single thing on the walls here because I
Mhm.
just didn't want to pay to like
Yeah.
get it, whatever. So this new place I'm excited about. And then there's a house around the corner that's up for sale for $850,000. So I think I'm gonna buy that
Yeah.
when my lease runs out.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal.
It's a good deal. Oh man, housing.
Yeah.
I'll have to start taking my money out of Lucas's paycheck to afford my
There
rent.
you go. Uh-oh.
All of a sudden the stream turns off.
You'd probably do better off just, not buying coffee every single day, but
because I do my gym shift.
oh yeah.
So I work 1 day a week at my local gym on Tuesdays. It gets me free gym membership and it pays me enough to cover my coffee.
Yep.
So that's my coffee job.
Coffee job.
I have one joy in my life.
Yeah.
Don't take my joy away.
Your coffee, your mochas.
Yeah. I don't even know where the hell we are or what we're talking about anymore.
That's okay.
So
Flick says she wants to, or she hasn't played with you in forever, which I'm going to infer means that she wants to play with you. I think we all are excited to see you experience zero build because it's Fortnite with no building is such a interesting, animal.
it's weird. I mean, I get how they did it. That game is just a giant marketing tool for them. Like they want it's making bank for them. So though I say this, like I throw shade at Epic because I think Epic is a little shady, but I don't think they have any like design philosophy around what Fortnite is other than as a vector to sell microtransactions.
Yeah.
I think if somebody came up to them and they're like, making Fortnite a first person shooter would increase revenue 10%, I think in 2 weeks they would have a first person version.
They're working on a first person shooter right now.
There you go. I do not think they care at all about their design ethos.
Yeah.
I think they just want to keep the money train rolling.
Yeah. The big question is, and I'd like to hear some of my fuckery friends weigh in on this, is do we think first person will come to the build mode, or is it going to be a no build mode exclusive? Because imagine building in first person. I feel like that would be nauseating personally. Like the idea of like, yeah, Lucas is literally pretending to throw up. Because the idea of like doing 90s while like being in first person just sounds awful. But they're working on it. Like the leakers.
Maybe first person will be the one I grew on.
There you go.
Maybe they'll fix the damn aiming.
Yeah. So I play Halo Infinite, and the thing I can say that I don't love about first person, I really like the situational awareness of being able to see things around me when I'm playing, but also like when you're paying for cosmetics, it's really nice to be able to see them because it's great other people can see my cool cosmetics and stuff, but I like to be
You
able
shouldn't
to
make game design decisions based on microtransactions.
Well, I mean, like when you have a game that's built off like
I
a
get
battle
it.
pass system.
I get it. This is coming from someone who's been in the gaming space a long time, and it's like, so I'll give you an example of this is my old man thing. This is like I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it because it's bullshit, and we shouldn't have to live this way.
I agree. It's not the
So
way it should be.
Marvel has started this big thing now about like there's always a thing after the credits, right? Like what's the post credits scene going to be? So now, just thinking about this for a second, there's content at the end of the movie that's usually not too big, like it's a 10-second snippet or something,
Yeah.
right? But they're forcing you to sit through the credits to see it. And they could argue, well, no one's forcing you. It's like, well, if you want to see the movie, then
Yeah.
you know, the credits are usually 10 to 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
So just times, let's say 10 minutes times everyone who's in the audience, how much life are you stealing
Yeah.
from them? Right? Like,
It's true.
and I don't mean in an academic sense. I mean, like you're literally stealing people's lives.
Yeah.
But okay. Then you look at Spider-Man No Way Home. The ending scene for that is literally just the trailer for Doctor Strange 2. It's not a special scene. There's no, it's the trailer you can go watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's like your end scene was a fucking advertisement.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And pretty soon we're going to have like Spider-Man's going to be sitting on a train, and then he's going to look up at like a TV on the train, and then it's going to like the camera's going to slowly pan, and we're going to watch an advertisement for like
Mentos
Mountain Dew for
Yeah.
30 seconds. And then it's going to come back to the, like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And like, we don't have to live like that.
No.
Like, but the thing is, I consider gaming and movies, I feel like they're an art form, and I think they should be taken seriously. And I also don't think you should waste people's lives. I think your life is the most important thing you have, and you should not be wasting it on trivial nonsense, particularly advertisements, right? So that's my old man rant. I usually don't stay for the post credit scenes.
Yeah, I don't prefer to. They're not that important to me, but I know with like Marvel movies and stuff, and my daughter's so into the lore and everything that, you know, sometimes they've like alluded to things that were kind of like revealing and like big things for people that are really into it.
Yeah.
Like where she's super excited about the post, you know, credit scene, and I didn't get it or care.
Yeah, I've been hurt too many times. I think Star Wars has hurt me, where like you get excited about something and then it's real rough.
Hey, what's up, Burrito?
It's raw. Is that another question or just a long?
No, he's just saying hi. Let me see another question.
There's a lot of text.
They're talking about zero build. He said it will only. Actually, he's talking about what you're talking about, which he's saying it'll only change if people don't buy into it. But yeah, like as far as like the.
Oh, I get it. I mean, we sort of
life stealing.
We do it to ourselves, in a way. But I also think it's like these things are hard. Like I'm from a public health background, so like a lot of us will go, well, why don't people just eat better? It's like, well, it's not that simple. So like, for example, why don't people just eat better? Sure. But like a lot of people live in areas that are food deserts that don't have access to stuff. Why does the government subsidize the sugar industry billions of dollars every year, which makes candy cheaper and not fruits? Like there's public health policy that impacts our decisions. Like, you know, bans on selling cigarettes helped curb smoking, for example. And I think some of it too is like, it's really hard when you think about, you know, we do like yoga and, you know, meditation, a lot of stoicism thinking. So like, ultimately it does come down to you as the individual to make the decisions you can, but the world around you can be crafted to help better implement, have sidewalks, access to parks, those kind of things, right? Those make you healthier. But then I think about the climate change, and everyone's like, you know, I'm doing my part. I'm trying to drive an electric vehicle. I'm recycling. And it's like, those are all great, right? I'm trying to eat sustainably. But the reality is your contribution to that doesn't mean dick. It means absolutely nothing, whether you recycled or not for the rest of your life, because 80% of carbon emissions come from like 10 companies. Yeah. So it's like, they
pass it on to consumers as if we're like,
but it's just like, no matter what you do, you'll never. And the fact that like recycling, the reason we have recycling the way it is because it was pretty much just a giant propaganda trap to get people to feel like they're doing their part and saving electricity so that they don't. The companies don't have to.
But I think, you know, going back to what JD said, there is something we can do, and that is, and how we decide to spend our time and money. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
recycling may not be the thing that saves the planet, but not purchasing as many things that come in plastic containers, or not purchasing anything that comes in plastic containers if you
Sure.
can avoid it is a
I mean, I
way
think you
to,
have to do your part. It all
yeah.
adds up, right? You have to do what you can in spite of, it's like a lot of people use like the bully analogy when they talk about politics. It's like, well, why should America do this if China's not going to do it? It's like,
Mhm.
well, why should you not go and beat up the skinny kid because the bully's doing it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you don't have to do the bad thing just because somebody else is doing it. You can structure your existence in a way
Mhm.
where you're still doing positive,
Yeah.
good things. I mean, that's what like GDEX in this community is. Like,
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time looping it back. I spend a lot of time cultivating the expectations of what I expect from people in our community. And if you
Mhm.
violate that, we've had speakers at GDEX that I've had to like rescind their speaking session,
Yeah.
where I was like, I don't feel like this is a good year for you to be here for this reason, or like, whatever.
Mhm.
So like you have to do your part, but then ultimately, but the thing I always love too, 'cause everything ties back to public health. It's great. But you talk about like people say vote with your wallet, right?
Mhm.
But there's an asterisk, like most things, is when you vote with your wallet, that tells manufacturers or whatever that you don't want the product,
Yeah.
but it doesn't tell them why
Why
you
you
don't
don't want
want
the
the
problem.
product.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times they can take the wrong lesson away from that. Obviously, I don't want to spend like fast food. I don't buy
Yeah.
fast food ever. I get McDonald's like maybe twice a year.
Mhm.
And I don't buy a lot of junk food, but that doesn't, I'm sure McDonald's could take a guess why I don't buy
Yeah.
McDonald's, but they don't actually know,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's not clear to them the reason why.
Yeah.
Um, well, I will say, like, because we got onto this topic because of Fortnite and microtransactions. Like, I would love
Like
to see
I could talk
companies
about
like, yeah.
microtransactions all day.
Oh, yeah. I would love to see a company like Fortnite continue to do more of like what they did with Ukraine, because I think people that are playing Fortnite and enjoy the cosmetics of Fortnite and are spending money in Fortnite are going to continue to do that regardless. And it would be nice to see them, put their money behind efforts like the Ukraine effort and other efforts. I think within a 2-week period,
Yeah.
they raised like $20 million.
I mean, it's good, but like, I think it's all performative.
I mean, it is, yeah, but it's still,
Epic makes billions of dollars on Fortnite a quarter.
yeah,
20 million for them is nothing.
it is,
And top of that, you got to keep in mind that like that money is just a pass through
yeah, yeah. They're
from the
getting a tax, yeah,
consumer. So yeah, they're going to get a tax.
tax
I'm,
write.
I'm not saying it's not good to do
Yeah,
charity, but like I think that a lot of those things are just very performative,
for sure.
you know?
I'm just saying I would like to see them do more performative things because I think, again, I don't think anyone's going to spend less or spend more than they already are,
Oh,
given their situation. I think,
I guarantee you that Epic has psychologists on staff
oh, I'm sure of
that are
that.
entirely devoted to figuring out how to use psychological tricks to get people to buy microtransactions.
Yeah,
I mean, the season pass is completely constructed in a way.
yeah,
Remember the one time where like it was like, oh, you can choose your direction,
uh-huh.
but like the math actually works out that you can't.
Yeah, it's,
At like, yeah, 75% of the way through, like you're forced down this way.
uh-huh.
Like it's a false
Yeah, yeah,
choice. They do it intentionally to
yeah,
like it's Skinner box
for sure.
techniques.
Yeah. Well, we've covered a lot of things
I
today.
know. I could yell about Epic all day. And then they have the fucking gall to pretend that they're standing up for developers and the little guy
Oh, no, there's
in
no
this
way.
Apple debate. I was like, come
No, that
on.
was, they just want to make
Come
as
on.
many
Yeah.
many dollars as they can.
What they wanted to do is use Apple's network and infrastructure to make a bunch of money on Fortnite and
Yeah.
not pay Apple anything
Yeah.
for it. That's all they wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
So
Did we get through everything?
I don't know. I mean, we did. There was nothing to get there.
There's nothing on
There was
sheet.
there was
There's
no
nothing actually on the sheet.
there was no agenda.
I think we did it then.
Did we? That was wild. Any last questions before we go? I always ask anything last you want to talk about before we
No, just
ring
like
this
if,
bad boy up.
obviously if you guys, especially the people in my community that are already in our Discord, if you haven't checked out GDEX, definitely look it up. at thegdex.com. I'd love to see some of you guys next year if you can
Yeah,
travel.
follow us on the social medias.
Yeah.
At the GDEX on everything.
Yeah. And then those of you who aren't already in our Discord, we'd love to have you. We're really easy to find. If you type in Fortnite fuckery on pretty much any of the social media channels, you should be able to find. I see Lucas laughing.
Do they allow that on Twitter?
We use FKRY as our like the main way we say Fortnite fuckery, so that way it doesn't get censored. Plus, we do have some community members that don't appreciate foul language, so we try just to use the acronym as much as possible.
You're in the wrong house, I guess.
I know, right? So, but yeah, join us. Like I said, we have an ice cream social next Tuesday. We've got incredible moderators. I'm super grateful for all the people that tuned in today to check out this show, and really thankful for all the moderators that make the Fortnite Fuckery Discord and community as great as it is. So, and thanks for having me, Chris. This has been fun. Chris has been asking me for probably like 2 months now, and I just keep telling him maybe later. And so, thanks for making it happen.
No, I wanted you on here, well, just for fun to chat, but because I think you're coming out games. Like almost everyone that I've had on the show has been in the game development space or YouTubing, Twitching space or whatever for like a long time.
Yeah.
And you're sort of new to games and you're new to creating like a community and you're fostering all this stuff. So I thought it was a cool little tack to take. So I'm sure and of course we've got Game Club. So should mention, you can follow us. There's a whole bunch of things. So you can go to volpecreates.com/Discord to join our Discord and chat. We've got Game Club, which has if you search Game Club on Twitter, I think it's your game club. The whole Twitter thing is driving me freaking crazy. Twitter's not sending out the codes I need to like change the handle ID on these accounts. So it's driving me crazy. But anyway, Game Club, and then of course GDEX at the GDEX. Don't forget the THEGDEX. That's all of our social medias. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Give him some kisses. So I guess, thank you everybody for joining us on the Volpe Create Show, the weekly talk show about gaming and creative technology. I am your host, Chris, and we got baby girl over here.
Baby.
She was sleeping,
so
I'm
cute.
sure she needs a new haircut. Mr. Yu, thank you.
You're
Pumpkin
welcome.
is
Thanks
somewhere. She was making noises over there, but I think she's been
probably playing with the cord.
Pretty good. And of course, Mr. Lucas, I won't be able to hear you, but how are you doing?
Oh, great. I'm doing fantastic.
All right, get some thumbs up.
Thanks,
sweet.
Lucas.
And thank you all for watching. We are here every Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time at twitch.tv/Volpe Creates. We also have the YouTubes where I post this every week. I post this up on the YouTube as well. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next week.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.